Evil Dead, Rise from the Ashes, written by Arkansas Ash. Chapter 1. I never thought I'd find myself standing at the gates leading to the ancient Campbell Castle, a crumbling monument to my lineage, and, on this fateful day, the stage for my reckoning. At 66, I was Ash William Campbell, a name synonymous with B-movie thrillers and horror flicks in the late 80s and 90s. I was young, well-built to show off the torn shirt and pants hero look, handsome, with dark brown hair with a white strike on the right side, a family birthmark. You might say that only happens in a blue moon in the family bloodline, in which I later found out it was more than meets the eye. A L-shaped scare on my chin from my youth, from an accident with my cousins one summer. And we don't want to forget the Campbell chin that drove the ladies wild. And if that wasn't for that chin, I wouldn't have met my first wife. There was a spark between each other that was amazing, but something was off when our son was born. A few years into our marriage, I brushed it off, thinking was nothing. Then a few years later, my daughter was born. That's when things went downhill, fast, with me and my first wife. Like before, I ignored it like always, but the nail on the coffin when returning from trick-or-treating with my son and daughter, when she came home late one night and told it was over between her and me. A few months later, the papers were sighed, and it was over for me. That spark that we had was gone. I felt the weight of the world came crashing down, and my life was done for, until one day, while I got a job for a role in an apocalyptic movie where I met my second wife, who worked in the costume department. She was something else, and that spark within flickered once more, telling she might be the one. And results? Well, we're still happily married all these years. I wish she would come with me to the reading, but her job was very important and couldn't come. She would have loved to see Scotland and see where the Campbell clan came from in all. I miss her company with her. She made me feel happy and sometimes whole, but deep down I knew something was missing. I was haunted, not by the gory specters of past films, but by my own fading relevance in an industry that had long since passed me by. I was getting old. My body sagged. My face had so many wrinkles, and my dark brown hair was gone, turned that same shade as the strike in my hair. My eyesight was going. It made it harder to see without glasses from time to time. And to top it off, my right hand got a bad case of arthritis with carpal tunnel to make it hard to even write autographs to fans who loved my films back then without flaring up. I wish I can turn the hands of time to be young again and step out on stage to show that I was not done yet, that I had more to give and leave something wonderful for all to enjoy for generations. But that dream would never happen. I shook my head a bit, bring back to reality as I walked with a bit of a limp in my step as I entered the courtyard of the castle with an umbrella open to keep the rain that came down off of me. The other day, while leaving on my trip, I banged my right knee a little when leaving the reception desk at the airport when making my way to where my gate was. It was hurting a bit. The lovely reception girl asked if I was all right, and I gave a little fake smile indicating her I was okay but wasn't. After going through security, I made my way to my gate as the pain subsided in my knee. I found an empty seat and sat down, a bit tired. I sat my duffel bag next to me, as open it to get out a few things. My phone and my reading glasses. I placed my glasses on my face as flicked the switch on the side, on my phone to activate it. Once the screen was on, I went to the icon that said email and typed my user and password. The screen changed to what it looked like a ton of emails sent to me, most of them from fans to spam. It would take me a while to go through them, but it would keep me busy before my flight. You know that feeling someone is watching you well? That happened the moment I was reading from a fan who was asking 21 questions about one of my films long ago. I glanced around to see what it was, but still nothing, but that feeling happened once more. When my ears picked up something, it was the announcements of the flights. or people talking back and forth, but something else. What I tried to ignore it. Then it happened. I looked up from my screen, of my surprise, and was greeted by a kid of all places. He looked to be an 8 to 9-year-old, a bit chubby from eating too many sweets, and in his hand, what looked like a plastic bat. His breath sounds like, almost like those nasal fanboys who breathing too hard, making a weird noise when they see me for a first time at a con. Now that's whole other story there to tell, but back on track here, I smiled at him politely and went back to what I was doing, but I had one of those bad feeling moments began to creep up within me when out of the blue, it happened. That kid did something he shouldn't have done in the first place, but it was too late. I fell. Something hit my right knee hard. I let out a scream and began curse like a sailor, wondering what the F was. That then I saw the kid had his plastic bat raised to his chest, level a bit shocked, but calm for some reason. I yelled at the kid, which I shouldn't have, what he had done, but it was too late. The kid began to tear up and began to wail like a banshee so loud the whole airport who hear him. Now you're wondering where was his parents? Well, the father wasn't there at the time, maybe somewhere to get away from his nagging wife, who was not far where I was, on her phone talking about something to her BFF, or someone on the other line, when she heard her son scream for her. She came over cuddling her son and asked what happened. Then the kid gave a performance that put me into shame. Though crocodile tears and other BS, he said, pointed at me saying, I said in his words, not words, no kid should hear in the first place. That's when his mother went full-blown Karen on me and said some colorful things to me, like, how dare you yell to my kid, to I will sue you. My blood was boiling right now, and felt the pain. My knee was beginning hurting even more, but was worse, was the nagging mother and her brat screeching at the top of his lung. They yelling, trigged something, but I didn't know what until I found out later why. But in the meantime, I had enough of it. Deep within myself, this bee and crotch goblin needed to put down right here and now. With swift move, I stood up, despite the pain, and looked at her in the eye, and I let loose a powerful yet strong yell for everyone, including her and her brat, to hear me, what I had to say. I called her a primitive screwhead, who didn't know how to raise a kid right, and should go back to parenting school on how to raise their kid properly, because this was unacceptable 100%. Being a parent myself, I thank God for my parenting skills were even better than this bee. It wasn't easy at first, being a father, in all this was all new to me, but as time went on, I taught them to behave themselves and what was right and wrong, and I learned how to be a better father as well. And in the end, now that my kids were full-grown adults, they turned out okay, with no issues whatsoever. They didn't get into trouble, they kept the noises clean, and they know if they need advice, I would give them what I can do to make their life even better, even mine as well. Heck, I could have won Father of the Year awards left and right for raising my kids well, but from what I saw was not my cup of tea at all. What is this world coming to, though? The mother, stunned what I had to say, was about to say something when her husband, who returned just in time to hear what happened. The two began to quailing back and forth with each other, saying sometimes I wouldn't dare repeat when my flight was announced. I grabbed my bag, make sure everything was in there, thank God, and like a ninja slipped away without them noticing me there at all. Good riddance to a bunch of screwheads. As I handed my passport and ticket to the stewardess, she looked at me and asked if I was a light. I told her I was fine and hobbled my way to the plane. Thank God. Later on, the same stewardess gave me a bag of ice to put over my knee, and some pain meds for it. I smiled and thanked her with an autograph to her son, who turned out to be a huge fan of my work. Chapter 2. The walkway to the castle's front door felt long to get in the rain, with my left hand holding an umbrella to keep the rain off of me as much as can. But I could feel a drop or two land on my face once, as if someone was crying on me at my own funeral. My uncle, the clan's esteemed patriarch, had passed away unexpectedly, and he left me something in his willow box awaiting me inside. Could be my last chance at something meaningful, or that's what I thought it would be. "Ash, is that you?" said a familiar voice from my past. I turned to see who it was, my third cousin, Robert Campbell, son of Mary and Duncan and Marcus's younger brother, running in the rain with an umbrella in one hand and a book on the other. He was younger than me by 5 years, with short brown hair with touches of grey. He wore a pair of not-so-thick glasses and was dressed what you might say what Harrison Ford wore in his Indiana Jones films. True story, I did ran into him long ago for a few min in the back lot of a studio, which I forget which one. We just said hello to each other while I was looking for my good friend Sam, who called me out of the blue to be in his latest film that he was working. Those were the days. Anyway, back on track here. Robert was given the title of the keeper of the family tree. That means he did a lot of research and persevere the family's history for generation. With his background, a college professor of archaeology, he found a lot of things about our family tree that it might be boring to other, but to me, it was interesting. I always like hearing what he had to say and give me ideas for future movies, if you know what I mean. He stood beside me, adjusting his glasses, and smiled when he saw me. "It's been a while, Ash. How are you?" "Same as always," I replayed to him. With a smile, Robert gave me a weird look. "What?" I said to him. "Is there something on my face?" "No," he replayed to my question. "It's nothing." "So you heard what happened to Uncle Angus?" "Yeah, poor guy. He went before his time. He took care of this place for a long time. Remember back when my family and yours visited this place during the summer?" I said to Robert. "Bring back the good old days when we're kids." "Yes, I do," said Robert, sighing, and he remembered the good old days as well. "We used to play until, well, you know." He pointed to my L-shaped scare on my chin. My right hand trembling lifted to touch the old scar on my chin. "Yeah, look, it wasn't your fault, Robert, you know that." "I know," he said, his tone of voice changed a bit. "If Marcus hadn't picked up that—" "Did someone say my name?" said a deep voice that was behind us. We turned to see a huge man with a long red beard and hair to match, except there was a bald spot on his head. He had a few grey hairs here and there, but not much. He was round, from eating too much of his mother's home-cooked meals, that his so-called shirt, which was 2 sizes too small on him, was showing his beer gut as he grind from ear to ear. His name was Marcus, oldest son of Mary and Duncan, and Robert's brother. "Marcus," I gulping a little, hoping he wouldn't do something stupid like he did in the past, and hopeful now. "It's been a while." "Well, isn't it Ashy, the so-called famous actor from America?" He laughed, making his beer belly jiggled. "Got any good roles lately?" "Oh yes, not since you made that cameo in the Doctor Stranger movie a few months back." "Yeah," I said with a laugh, to try to lighten the mood a bit, but it wasn't working at all. "So you think you can come here and take what is rightfully mine, is it?" said Marcus, glaring at me with daggers ready to pierce me. "Well, I don't know. I mean, whatever Uncle Angus left me couldn't be that bad," I said with a smile, but suddenly disappeared when I heard Marcus growled. "Look, can we act like adults here, guys? I mean," said Robert, trying to, but was cut off. "You stay out of this, bookworm, this doesn't concern you," growled Marcus, toward Robert. My blood began to boil once more. When I saw what Marcus said to Robert, if I had my strength back when I was young, I would sock one right in Marcus' jaw, but my right hand was shaking due to the cold and the pain. I took a deep breath and let it out slowly as I stared at him. "That's enough, Marcus," I said, with a firm voice at him. Marcus turned to see me, and then let loose a laugh. "Or else, what, you're not as young as you used to be. You can't even keep your right hand from shaking like a leaf there." He said, "Point to my right hand," which was shaking even more. But I didn't let up. I felt the urge within began to stir, not much, but enough to show him I was not afraid of him. Marcus stopped laugh as B began to turn toward the castle. "Well, I hope whatever Uncle Angus left you is worthless like you." He laughed once more as he made his way. Robert turned to study me, his eyes sharp behind thick lenses. He knew I was pissed, but also something else. But what he didn't know, then he spoke. "Don't let him get to you, Ash." I sighed once more as I closed my eyes to calm myself down. Maybe Marcus was right. The vibrant film sets of long ago flickering in my mind like old film reels. I was once the king of the scream. Now, just Ash, the forgotten, but still deep down was telling something that my part was not over yet. "Let's get this over with," I said, trying to mask my unease with bravado. We both began to walk towards the doors of the castle when Robert spoke. "You know, Ash, this might be your ticket back to relevance. What our uncle left might just redeem your legacy." I scoffed. "We'll see." Chapter 3. As we entered the castle, the air thickened with dust and secrets long forgotten. My heart raced. Memories of long ago as a kid, coming to this place during summer breaks, the adventures I had here with Robert, filled my mind as we walked down the hallway towards the great hall where the will was being read. As we entered the room, adorned with portraits of brooding ancestors eyeing us judgmentally, it made my skin crawl a little, but I kept my composure as one of the clan's man of the Campbells. I found a seat not far and sat down. Robert sat next to me, as across from us was Marcus and many others from the clan who was summoned for the reading. We're talking to each other. Most of them were some gossip and other nonsenses, but I can see Marcus eyeing me and laughing at the same time. The doors open again, and an elder gentleman with a briefcase walked past to the front, and everyone quitted the room. "Good day to you all. My name is Eric McQueen," he said with stern voice. "I was Mr. Angus Campbell, lawyer, and I am here to read his last will and testament to those who attended today. Now let's get started, shall we?" Eric pulled out from his briefcase a huge stack, what looks like Uncle Angus's will, and began to read it. My uncle had some stock and bonds that were going too divided for the family members. Robert inherited the family library and all the records of the family, as well as some other stuff that was kept in a vault. As for Marcus, he crossed his arms that his name was not spoken yet and was getting a bit angry. Then it happened. "To my beloved nephew, Ash W. Campbell," said the lawyer, as he adjusted his glasses, reading what was next, "Change everything. I leave to you a box that holds the key to our family's legacy, a legacy that has been guarded for centuries and that is now your burden to bear." The moment lawyer's voice was heard, there Marcus said something. "Wait a minute, what did you just say?" "I said that Ash W. Campbell is to receive a box that was left by Mr. Angus Campbell, and I was about to read more why when you interrupted me. So, if you may, can I continue?" said the lawyer, looking at Marcus. Marcus nodded and kept his mouth shut. "As I was saying, if plan you to open the box, which my lawyer would give to you, to key after the reading of the will, and if you need any help, you can rely on Robert to help you as a Campbell too. Fulfill your destiny as the chosen one, said the lawyer as he finished what was written in the will. What did the lawyer say? Me, the chosen one? What the hell? Then out for the blue, Marcus stood up and pointed at me. What, him? You got to be kidding me. I was supposed to be the one, not him. This must be a mistake. There is no mistake. Ash W. Campbell is now the chosen one. It is written here, said the lawyer, pointing to the will. Marcus walked over, snatching the will and reading it himself. His face went red. This can't be that son of... I'm sorry, but there is nothing else can be done. It was Angus' wishes, and it should be honored, said the lawyer, taking the will back from Marcus as he began to put the papers but into the briefcase. No, this can't be, said Marcus as he turned to me. You son of a... Without warning, he came after me, fists clenched in both hands, ready for a beatdown. I had no chance to get out of his way. All I can do is covered my face with my arms, ready for the worse, but he didn't lay one finger on me. I lowered my arms to see him being held back by the other members of the clan. Get off of me, you son of a... he yelled, as some of the family members was holding him back. Get a hold of yourself, Marcus, said one. Have some respect, man, this isn't you, said another. Let go of me, roared Marcus as he tried to lunge at me. My heart was racing like a jackrabbit as I tried to get up from my seat, but fell to the ground. I mustered just enough to crawl away from him, but he came closer and closer. I closed my eyes. I'd pray it would be over with, when suddenly a boom so loud shattered the windows as a huge gust of wind blowed in like a tornado had made its way in. I felt a chill run down my spine, as if something was not right. And I was, when I turned to see the lawyer gave out an inhuman scream that stopped everyone in their track, including Marcus. What the hell? Said Robert, shocked to see what was going on. The lawyer's face looked different, his eyes sunken and white, as he spoke point at me. You may have the blood of the chosen one, but you shall die tonight, and evil shall rule. The next thing I knew, the lawyer lunged at me to kill, when out of nowhere a gunshot sound went off, that in a matter of seconds, the lawyer's head was blown off his body, causing blood to spray everywhere, including me. I barely turned to see who shot him when my head began to spin, and I fell to the ground hard. The only thing I heard before blacking out was Robert calling my name.
Hello everyone, my name is Arkansas Ash. I am the author of what you just listened right now is the first chapters of my fan novel of Evil Dead Rise from the Ashes. It's been a year now since I've been writing this very unique, interesting series, and I wanted to test the waters a little bit on seeing if doing a audio reading of my fan novel and seeing what people's reactions are like. If you like it, cool. If you don't, fine. But if you want me to do like any, improvements, maybe making it looking more fun and interesting to listen to and everything, please leave a comment down below and suggestions what I can do about it. Also, if you're quite interested of whatever happened to our new knuckleheaded hero, well, you're in luck, because down below is a link to my DeviantArt page, which I have released the first 30 chapters of a soft release, you might say, of my fan novel. I'm looking for suggestions, comments, and things so I can improve it. And hopefully, if things go very well, maybe in the future, if I play my cards right and everything, then this might be turned into, I might get this out published for for all your Deadeye fans out there to enjoy as well. So, I really appreciated you enjoyed listening to this audio drama of my novel. Please check out the soft release also of the rest of the chapters. And if there's any comments or suggestions or anything, please do so. I would really appreciate it if you can. Until then, I'll see you guys in the next video. And hail to the king, baby.